So in Python, whenever we create an object, there are two very important methods that come into play: dunder init and dunder new method. Now, most beginners know about the dunder init method, but not many people know about the dunder new method. And trust me, once you understand this, you'll see Python in a whole new way. Now, before we jump into dunder new method, let's first look at the dunder init method. So here I'm creating a simple class called myClass, and inside it I've defined the dunder init method. This method takes self and value as arguments. And inside it, I'm just printing dunder init called, and then I'm storing the value inside the object. And now let's create an object of this class. So now when we run the program, you'll see it prints dunder init called. And that's because after the object is created, Python immediately calls this dunder method to initialize the object. So always remember this: dunder init does not create the object. It only initializes it after creation. Now the big question is, if dunder init doesn't create the object, then who does? That's where the dunder new method comes in. So think of it like this: the dunder new method is like the construction company that builds the house, and the dunder init is like the interior designer who comes in after the house is built and sets up the furniture, paints, and decor. In the same way, dunder init only runs after dunder new creates the object. So now let me show you how the dunder new method works. So first, I will create a method called dunder new, and this will take the CLS, which is short for class, instead of self. That's because it works at the class level, not the object level. Inside it, I just printed dunder new called so we can see when this runs. And then I wrote super.dunderNew class. This is the part that actually creates a brand new object in memory. And finally, I return that object. So now when I create an object of my class and run the program, then you will see that first dunder new is called to create the object, and then dunder init is called to initialize it. Now the obvious question is, why would we ever want to mess with dunder new if Python already creates objects for us? Well, in most cases you don't need it, but it becomes useful in some special cases. So let me show you one popular example: the Singleton pattern. So here I'm creating a class called Singleton, and in this I will first create a class variable called _instance and set it to none. And then I will create a dunder new method, and inside it will check if the _instance is none. If yes, that means no object exists yet, so I create a new one and store it in the _instance variable. And if it's not, that means the object already exists, so I just return the same one. And then finally, I create a dunder init method and just store the value. So now I will create the first instance of my Singleton class, and I'm passing the value 10. And then I will print the value of a. So on running the program, you will see that it prints creating a new instance from the dunder new method, and then it prints the value of a, which is 10. So what's happening behind the scenes is that Python first calls the dunder new method. Since no instance exists yet, it will print creating a new instance, and then it will create one. After that, the dunder init method will run and store the value 10 inside that instance. And now if I create another instance and pass the value 20, and then print the value of b and run the program, then you will see that it also overwrites the value of a, which was previously set to 10. So what's happening here is that when Python calls the dunder new method again, it will see that an instance already exists. So instead of creating a new object again, it simply returns the same object that was already created earlier. Then dunder init method runs again, and this time it updates the value inside the same object. Since the value here is 20, it overwrites the old value of 10 with 20. So basically, because both a and b are pointing to the same object, updating it once updates it for both references. So even if we check if a is b, then you can see we get true as the output. So now the important thing to remember is that dunder new controls whether a new object is created or the old one is reused. But the dunder init method always runs after the object is returned, and that's what's updating the value each time. In real software, a singleton is often used for things like a database connection. You don't want to create a new connection every time you query the database. That's wasteful and slow. Instead, you create one connection and reuse it everywhere. That's exactly how dunder new can be used to enforce a singleton.